Right. Remember, we are now open for every gas station and convenience store owner.
We welcome Fawad Khan to Houston. Please note the red carpet will begin 6 p.m. at AMC Sugarland. VVIP meet and greet 6 p.m. through 7 p.m. Movie starts 7:15 p.m. For info, call.
फिल्मी गाने के नए वीडियोस को देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें और YouTube के ऐप पर बेल आइकन को क्लिक कीजिए।
ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे तोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे तोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे अरे मेरी जीत तेरी हार मेरी हार सुन है मेरे यार तेरा गम मेरी जान ऐसा अपना प्यार जान पे भी खेलेंगे तेरे लिए ले लेंगे जान पे भी खेलेंगे तेरे लिए ले लेंगे सब है दुश्मनी ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे तोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे मरना जीना साथ है, खाना पीना साथ है, मरना जीना साथ है, सारी जिंदगी ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे, तोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे, ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे, तोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे।
Welcome, 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 my lovely listeners, to your own show, Cricket with Mahesh Iyer, only on 103.3 Houston FM, a presentation of Rehan Siddiqui. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे, तोड़ेंगे दम मगर तेरा साथ ना छोड़ेंगे. That can apply in so many different ways. The dosti with the sport of cricket, the dosti that you all, those who have tuned into me, have for me. And that is why you've tuned in for me, the dosti that we all have with our life and with those special ones in our lives, be they family, be they friends, be they acquaintances. So today I'm going to try and weave in a dosti special within this cricket show, your own show, Cricket with Mahesh Iyer, and for very good reasons that you will know as the show progresses. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in to me today on this now decidedly wintry morning here in Houston, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. It is pretty gloomy, it is pretty chilly, but that's how it's supposed to be. Maybe it's come a few weeks too late. It should have been this way a couple of weeks ago, but as they say, better late than never. So welcome to this winter show of Cricket with Mahesh Iyer, only on 103.3 Houston FM, a presentation of Rehan Siddiqui. Of course, you can tune into me on 103.3 FM station. That is in the greater Houston area. You can tune into me at houstonfm.com globally and also on the app 103.3 Houston FM app. And for those of you who are Facebook savvy, who love Facebook, who are on Facebook, I'm on Facebook Live. I've been live ever since the show started today. A double thumbs up to all those of you who are listening to me, seeing me live on Facebook. A double victory, a double wave, and a salute. Thank you once again for tuning into me. As usual, I've got a pretty packed show and I'll try and do justice to the different elements, especially the element of dosti, the element of friendship that I want to make a theme running through the show. And as I said, you will find out very soon why that is the running theme for this particular show. But before I get to my show, I do want to share with you all, my listeners, whether you listen to me live or you listen to my recorded shows later, please do note that this show time for this particular show is now going to be changing. Yes, starting December. So specifically starting Friday, the 5th of December, I will be on air live exactly at the same stations, but on Friday evenings, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard me right. Friday evenings, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Same station, same online website, same app, same Facebook Live channel. Just the timing changes. Friday evening, Houston or US Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right after the Samia show on Friday. So right after that, if you're listening, if you're a regular listener of the Samia show, stay tuned because I will be coming in right after Shamia concludes her Friday show at 7 p.m. So I do look forward to, meeting with you all virtually, have you listening to me, and hopefully getting a few more listeners on board on a Friday evening. So anyway, I'll be mentioning the revised show times throughout the show when I get an opportunity. And also, I'll put it up on my Facebook page as well as on my other social media handles, Twitter and Instagram. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to me. I do really appreciate that. If you do need to give me any feedback about the show, you can send me a Facebook message. You can drop me a WhatsApp or a text message on my cell phone, 832-310-4101. Of course, during the show, if you want to talk to me, you'll have to call me at 713-931-1033. That's the number to reach me at. So let's get going. Let's get cracking with today's show. What do we have? As usual, a weekly roundup. What's happening? The Abu Dhabi T10 just got over, ladies and gentlemen. The qualifier 2 as well as the finals were held earlier today. Congratulations to the UAE Bulls for thumping the Aspen Stallions in a very, very big win. They won by about 80 runs. And who else? It was Tim David. Yeah, absolutely magnificent Tim David, scoring 98 runs in just 30 deliveries with only 3 fours, but a staggering 12 sixes. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim David for you, single handedly taking the UAE Bulls to 150 for just one. And in return, in response, Aspen Stallions could not go beyond 70 runs in their allotted 10 overs. So, congratulations to the entire team. Congratulations to Karen Pollard, the captain of UAE Bulls, for winning the Abu Dhabi T10. Then moving on from T10, let's go to T20s. In T20s, lots of exciting stuff that's happening. A lot has happened and lots exciting coming up for us. The tri-series between Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe concluded yesterday with a fantastic win for Pakistan. They literally, I think, as one of the reporters mentioned, it was Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe. I'm sorry if I mentioned South Africa. It was Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe. It was kind of an interesting tri-series. Pakistan dominated. I think they seem to be looking very much like a well-oiled machinery so far, but I think their sterner test would be against some stronger teams. But they do have a lot of positives. I think bringing Babar Azam back has injected more confidence. We've seen Babar Azam's best batting and best catching and fielding, I would say, in the recent past in this particular tri-series. They were clearly ahead of the game in most of the contests against both Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe, except for the last league stage where Sri Lanka did surprise them by 6 runs. And in the final, it was almost a cakewalk, even though the match went into the 19th over. I think the result was a foregone conclusion. But I would say the biggest heartburn for me was Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, who started brilliantly in their opening game, they could have beaten Pakistan. They then beat Sri Lanka in a humiliating fashion, bowling them out for 95 odd. And then after that, who knows? They just lost their way completely. And so I think Zimbabwe would do well to make sure they become better oiled and come up trumps in a more regular, in a more sustained manner, and they win those pressure moments. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned, at least in this series, they literally were blowing hot and blowing cold. Yeah. And there was absolutely no stability. One couldn't, even in the final yesterday that I caught quite a bit of, they were doing great in the power play. And then from 60, 70 or for maybe a 1 or 2 wickets down, they crumbled to 114 all out. And so that shows that they do have a lot of homework to do. Make sure they manage the middle overs better, keep those wickets in hand, keep those run scoring going, and figure out a way to bat against quality spin. I think that does seem to be an issue with the Sri Lankan team in T20s. Quality spin from Abrar, Mohammad Nawaz, and Sam Ayub literally put paid to their hopes. So they would do well to tune up that area in some fashion. I think I would say significantly as preparation for the World Cup that's going to happen in a few months, partly in their backyard as well. We'll talk about the World Cup schedule in just a minute, but congratulations to Team Pakistan and commiserations to Team Sri Lanka and Team Zimbabwe. Moving on from there to the Women's Big Bash League, it's closing in on the last couple of weeks. It's now Hobart Hurricanes who still stay at the top, But now Melbourne Stars have moved up to the second. Previously, it was Melbourne Renegades who were at the second of the table. So now it's Melbourne Stars who are at the second position. So a bit of a seesaw battle going out there with Hobart Hurricanes staying firm. Still, lots to play for. The finals happening in about 2 weeks. 13th of December, I believe, is when the final is scheduled to be held. It'll be a Saturday. So there's still plenty to play for. We wish all the teams all the very best in the Women's Big Bash League. Continuing with Women's T20 cricket, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who may not be aware, the Women's T20 World Cup schedule has been drawn out in England, in the UK, I would say, between June 12th and 5th of July next year. England and Sri Lanka kick off the World Cup with their game, and the first game of the tournament at Edgbaston, and of course the final will be where else? At the home of cricket, Lords. India and Pakistan open their campaign against each other on Big Sunday, June 14th. They are pitted against each other. I haven't seen the venue, but I would expect it to be either Manchester or Lords or Edgbaston, one of the iconic grounds hosting an iconic game of cricket. So that's on the Women's T20 World Cup coming up in a little over, I would say, about 6-7 months from now. And going back to the Men's T20 World Cup, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the schedule has been released. For those of you who may not have caught it, it's all available on espncricinfo.com. I'm going to share a few snippets. This World Cup is going to run from February 7th through March 8th, with several venues, I would say, selected from across India and a couple of venues in Sri Lanka. I think I shared this last week as well. So across India, the venues I can recall right now are Chennai, Kolkata, Mumbai. There may be more that I don't recall, whereas in Sri Lanka, it's Kandy and a couple of stadiums in Colombo. Beautiful Colombo, I must say. The first game gets kicked off between Pakistan and Netherlands on February 7th in Colombo. And India, they are opening their campaign against the United States of America on Sunday, February 8th at the Wankhede Stadium. Of course, in the group that India and Pakistan are put together, there are also United States, Netherlands, and Namibia. So that's a group of 5 that India and Pakistan would be a part of. Similarly, there are 3 other groups. So there'll be about 20 teams playing. That would be split into 4 groups of 5 each. And of course, the top 2 go into the Super 8s, and then you get into the semi-finals and then the finals. The semi-final venues have been slotted in. The second semi-final is going to be at Mumbai. So if India does qualify for the semi-final, they will play their semi-final in Mumbai. If Pakistan qualifies for the semi-final, they will play their semi-final in Colombo. If India doesn't qualify, it doesn't matter. The second semi-final will still be in Mumbai. But if Pakistan doesn't make it to the semi-final, then the first semi-final will be in Kolkata. And the dates there are the first semi-final on the 4th of March, which is a Wednesday, and the second semi-final on the 5th of March, which is a Thursday. The final, of course, is going to be either in Ahmedabad if Pakistan doesn't qualify, or Colombo if Pakistan qualifies for it on Sunday, the 8th of March. So a marquee tournament coming up in under 3 months from now. We all are excited. I'm sure many of you are excited. I am surely excited to watch the games, if possible in person, if not, at the very least, on the television. So lots to look forward to in the area of T20 cricket, ladies and gentlemen. Now, moving on from T20 cricket, let's talk about one-day internationals. The first one-day international between India and South Africa was played at Ranchi, and it just got over about a half an hour ago with a very, very close game. I would say maybe half an hour, 40 minutes ago or so. It was still going on as I was driving to the studio, and it was a very, very close game, even though India eventually ended up winning by about 17 runs. They had scored 349, courtesy a brilliant century, 125 odd by Virat Kohli. Who else? The counter-attack from South Africa, despite losing 3-4 wickets in the first 15 overs, was just stunning. That man, Marco Jansen, He has got a Midas touch now. He can do no wrong and he can do everything right. Be it batting, be it bowling, be it catching, be it fielding. Marco Jansen can not just do nothing wrong, he can only do everything right and the very best for his team. A fantastic 70 odd by him and about 38, 39 deliveries. Marco Jansen, it took a Kuldeep Yadav special to dip on him so that he didn't get the elevation and to get him caught by Jadeja. Otherwise, he could have taken South Africa home. But even after he was dismissed, Corbin Bosch didn't give up till he was dismissed in the very last over. So a great game of cricket that played out first of 3 one-day internationals. As far as Team India is concerned, I'm sure they're very happy because of the form of both Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Rohit getting a half century as well. Of course, Ranchi wicket is a little bit on the flat side, as can be evidenced by the fact that South Africa almost chased down 350. Of course, Dew also does come into play, but in general, the Ranchi wicket is good. But that notwithstanding, I think the fact that both Roko, as they're called, Rohit and Virat Kohli, addressed lovingly, fondly as Roko, hit their straps, I think it only is a lovely sight. It's music to the ears for cricket fans across the world, definitely Indian cricket fans. We all, as fans of cricket, want to see Rocco smash it around one more time at the World Cup in 2027, coming up in South Africa, Namibia, as well as Zimbabwe. So that'll be the one day International World Cup. And I'm pretty sure both Rohit and Virat want that to be their swan song. So do many of the fans. But of course, a lot of time between now and then. We can only hope and pray that Rohit and Virat stay healthy, stay fit, keep up their passion. I think that is a given. They'll have their passion all the way, even after they retire, such as their passion that is instilled in them, that has grown over the years. We just would love for them to be around. And I would say for Indian cricket fans like me, we would love for them to lift that trophy one more time, the one day International World Cup. Let's not forget, Rohit has been part of the 2011 T20 World Cup winning team, as well as the 2024 World Cup winning team, T20 World Cup winning team as a captain. Virat, no less. He was part of the 2011 World Cup winning team as a player under MS Dhoni. And he was also part of the 2024 T20 World Cup team as a player and a big contributor and a man of the match last year. So thanks to Virat Kohli, thanks Rohit Sharma, great game of cricket. Thanks Team India, Team South Africa. Fantastic first day, a first one-day international. The scene shifts to the second and the third one-day internationals in days to come. So that was one-day internationals, ladies and gentlemen. Now test matches. The two-day test match that ended at Perth gave extra time to both England and the Australian teams to reassemble, regroup, take assessment of their situations, and go forward. Well, the unfortunate news, I would say, definitely for Australian fans, is Pat Cummins has still not recovered. He is more than likely, not going to be playing the second test, which is going to start next week, Thursday, at Brisbane. And that is a day and night test, ladies and gentlemen. So they're going to be surely missing Pat Cummins, but they've got enough firepower with the continuation of Mitchell Starc and Scott Boland and other impressive seamers. I doubt Hazelwood is going to be back as well for the second test match. On the other side, despite no injury, Team England has not named Mark Wood in the second test match. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Wood is seen as somebody who is more potent in day test matches. He's going to be kept out of the second test match, the pink ball test, the day and night test at Brisbane, so that he stays fresh throughout the series. So surely that firepower of Mark Wood with his pace will be missing, but Team England management thinks, and they know best, that he is better utilized in day test matches. So Mark Wood will not be there at Brisbane next week. But exciting test match, lots to look forward to there as well. So that's on the test match arena between Australia and England, and not too far from there, the New Zealand versus West Indies test series just across the Tasman starts in a couple of days at Christchurch. Ladies and gentlemen, first test match of 3 between New Zealand and West Indies starting December 2nd, Tuesday, local time at Christchurch. That's also a great test series to look forward to. So those are my weekly roundups, ladies and gentlemen, not just a weekly roundup, also look ahead down the road to the Men's World Cup as well as to the Women's World Cup. While I continue, I've given you the weekly roundup as well as a little further down the road, look ahead. I'm going to take a break and come back with the rest of the show, which is going to be weaving, I would say, friendship, dosti, and you can extend that to care, love, attention towards each other as fellow humans, not just as cricketers. That's going to be the theme that we're going to be talking about, discussing today. So, along those lines, here is another song break for you all to enjoy. And on the other side, stay tuned for discussion about legends, who, in my opinion, are legends way beyond the field of cricket. They are legends for their actions of friendship, love, and care beyond the field of cricket.
कोई जब राह न पाए मेरे संग आए के पग पग दीप जलाए मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार कोई जब राह न पाए मेरे संग आए के पग पग दीप जलाए मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार जीवन का यही है दस्तूर प्यार बिना अकेला मजबूर दोस्ती को माने तो सब दुख दूर दोस्ती को माने तो सब दुख दूर कोई काहे ठोकर खाए मेरे संग आए के पग पग दीप जलाए मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार दोनों के हैं रूप हजार पर मेरी सुने जो संसार दोस्ती है भाई तो बहना है प्यार दोस्ती है भाई तो बहना है प्यार कोई मत नैन चुराए मेरे संग आए के पग पग दीप जलाए मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार प्यार का है प्यार ही नाम कहीं मीरा कहीं घनश्याम दोस्ती का यारो नहीं कोई धाम दोस्ती का यारो नहीं कोई धाम कोई कहीं दूर ना जाए मेरे संग आए के पग पग दीप जलाए मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार मेरी दोस्ती
A lovely yesteryear song, Meri Dosti, Mera Pyar, ladies and gentlemen, that we all have heard. And as I mentioned, today's show, I'm going to be talking a fair bit about not just dosti, but about love and care for fellow humans that goes beyond just the game of cricket, but it definitely is within the spirit of cricket. I recall in my much younger days, I've never seen a clip of this, but I do recall having read this on multiple occasions growing up. How, way back in the 1960s, when Team India was touring the West Indies, the Indian captain was very young at the time, Nari Contractor. While batting, he was hit on the head by a fierce delivery from one of the fearsome bowlers of West Indies, Charlie Griffith. He immediately fell to the ground, and of course, he was rushed to the hospital. He had lost a lot of blood. And Team West Indies players, including Sir Frank Worrell, who I think was the captain. Frank Worrell, one of the greatest legends of the game has ever seen, not just the game of cricket in the West Indies has ever seen. He took the lead in donating blood to Neri Contractor, and so did many players from the Indian team as well as the other players in the West Indian team did. And it was a miracle that Neri Contractor, of course, in addition to the blood donation, swift action by Indian Cricket Board in getting the right doctors, even from India, over to the West Indies to have Nari Contractor be operated upon, saved his life. So, when Subhash Gupte, I think the late Subhash Gupte, Bapu Nadkarni, Polly Umbrigar, Chandu Borde, so many others, they all joined hands, donated blood, and saved Nari Contractor's life. Of course, it's a shame Neri Contractor never could play for India again after that incident. It could have been much worse when Neri Contractor could have actually died. And unfortunately, we've seen incidents where cricketers have, they are very few and far in between, but even one is a painful incident. And we've seen that happen a few times over the last a decade and a half. So that could have happened, but thanks to the humanitarian gestures of players on both sides, and especially the players on the West Indies side, because they were the rival team and they didn't just walk away saying, hey, he doesn't know how to bat. No, they stood in there, they helped, they stood with love, with care and friendship. Something that I was reading growing up, even way before I was a teenager, that really did touch me. And then fast forward many years later, I would say still maybe about 10 years ago or so, I recall the legendary Christopher Henry Gale, again from the Caribbean, Chris Gale, whom everybody, I think, all over the world of cricket loves, especially those who love T20 cricket. They love Chris Gale. Chris Gale was, I believe, playing for the Royal Challengers Bangalore those days, and he was a six hitter by habit. There was no ground on this planet that was too big. And of course, Bengaluru ground is among the smaller grounds in the world. And one of the sixes that he hit actually ricocheted off a wall, and it hit the nose of a little girl. It actually broke her nose. And from what I recall, the girl was in the 6 to 10-year-old range. As soon as Chris Gale found out that one of his sixes has injured a baby girl, he immediately rushed to the hospital to meet her. He immediately rushed to the hospital to meet her, and she was resting, and he went and kissed her cheek. And the girl also was courage, positivity, fortitude epitomized, and she told Chris Gale, I'm paraphrasing, please don't feel bad, continue to keep hitting sixes. And then she said something like, if this is the gift I'm going to be getting, that Chris Gale comes to see me and he kisses me on the cheek, I don't mind getting hit every time I go to watch a cricket match where Chris Gale is playing. So that was a great attitude by that baby girl as well. We hope she's doing great today. I'm sure she's a grown-up, fantastic woman now. But Chris Gale, salutations to Chris Gale. Besides his exploits on the field of cricket, we all know during the last IPL final how he dressed up in half Punjab Kings attire and half Royal Challengers Bangalore attire, because he has played for both those franchises, and both those franchises were competing the IPL 2025 final. Of course, RCB went on to win. So Chris Gale, the legendary Chris Gale on the field of cricket, has a big heart, ladies and gentlemen, that he showed love and care. He could very well have said, who cares? I hit the ball for a six. The parents of the girl should have been more protective. No, he took it upon himself to do the best he could, and he sure did the best he could after that. That also shows the level of, as I said, genuineness in being just human, because oftentimes, whether it is sports or any other public area, one can so easily maybe become too big for their boots and maybe just become, superhuman or larger than life without realizing that that is really a wrong trajectory to be on. And incidents like these have shown that there are people who really do care. In fact, I recall another incident that happened during Sachin Tendulkar's first trip to Pakistan. I think it was his first overseas tour, first tour, and it was the first time he was playing for India in Test series. And those days, the Pakistani fast bowling was among the most fearsome in the world. I would say next only to West Indies, and they had in their ranks Imran Khan, Wasim Akram, and then Waqar Yunus was upcoming. And I recall during that series, Waqar Yunus was a tearaway fast bowler, and one of the balls he bowled hit Sachin in the mouth somewhere. It probably broke a few of his teeth, and he bled a little bit from his mouth. He called for help. He drank some water, and Imran Khan, who was the Pakistani captain, a father figure, actually, I would say, across both of the teams, he did suggest to Sachin that he should retire hurt and take care of himself. Of course, Sachin is Sachin. He said no, and the very next ball that Waqar Yunus bowled to him, he creamed him through to the boundary. That was Sachin for you, but also showed the humanitarian nature of Imran, that it wasn't like he didn't care. Very good that his bowler has hit the opposing team's youngest player and demoralized him. No, he genuinely cared for a teenager. But yep, Sachin is Sachin, and that is why Sachin is the legend he is. And in fact, Imran did mention in one of his articles on Vivian Richards that one of the biggest virtues we all need on the field of cricket is courage. And that's what Sachin exemplified in finite times over in that incident. But again, today we are talking about the care for fellow humans, just beyond being the superstar on the field of cricket that these incidents have shown. And along the lines of these incidents, why did I even think about these? Why did I even reminisce about these, ladies and gentlemen? I reminisced about these because there was something similar, much deeper, much less dangerous on the field of cricket that played out over the last few weeks. That really caught my attention, that has caught the attention of social media, that has caught the attention of celebrities across the world and mostly in India. What was that incident? For those of you who may not be aware, Smriti Mandana, India's top opening batter and real legend, even at the age of 28 or 29 that she is now, was all set to get married. In fact, in an extended 3-4 day ceremony, she even had her engagement, her mehendi, which is, the decoration that ladies do on their both their hands prior to wedding, and on other occasions as well. Everything was done, and the wedding festivities were going to happen on Sunday, last Sunday actually, when in the morning her father had a mild heart attack. He had to be hospitalized, and because of that, the wedding was called off indefinitely. And this was supported not just by Smriti Mandana, but also by her fiance Palash Muchal, who's also a big name in the music industry in India, because Palash also has a lot of love for Smriti Mandana's father. And those are understandable, I would say, reactions from Smriti Mandana and Palash. But what to me stood out was another legend who is not so tall in her physical stature, but she packs a punch on the field of cricket with the bat in her hand, and now she packed a punch outside the field of cricket. When she heard of Smriti Mandana's wedding being postponed indefinitely, and of what Smriti Mandana was facing and her father had gone through. And thankfully, her father is now back home, and he's all in the clear. And we wish him all the very best towards a speedy recovery. And we wish Smriti Mandana a soon, I would say, postponed ceremony, but soon, everything happens for some good. And hopefully she gets to tie the knot and enter into the stage of marital bliss sooner than later. We wish all of that. But this gentle giant of a legend with a big heart of Indian cricket, what did she do when she heard of her friend's predicament? She was playing in the women's BBL. She was playing for Brisbane Heat. She had played 3 games. When she heard of what Smriti Mandana was going through, she talked to the owners, took all of the legal steps, and she excused herself from I don't know how many thousands of dollars, how many games, how much limelight, how much more time spent in Australia. She has rushed back to India to be by her friend, Smriti Mandana. Who is this legend that I'm talking about? This legend, as I said, is the gentle giant of Indian women's cricket. She is already a legend in my opinion. I first saw her in flesh and blood when she was 17 years old, roughly in 2017. So I would say she's in the 25 to 26-year-old range, but already a legend in my opinion through not just her on-field exploits, but also her off-field exploits like these. She was part of the World Cup winning team, the Indian World Cup winning team at the One Day International World Cup about a month ago, and she played a big role in India winning that entire World Cup. Who was she? She was and is, and I hope we get to see more and more of her down the road as well. I'm sure she's not a finished chapter. She's got lots more to do in the field of cricket, in the field of life. She is Jemima Rodrigues, often referred to as Jemmy by her colleagues as well as her adversaries on the other sides, on other teams. So today's legend that we're going to chronicle for her big heart is Jemima Rodrigues. And while I turn the video camera towards the videos that I'm going to be playing on Jemima Rodrigues, here's another timeless classic that tells us that whether we are in love or in friendship, we will not forget all of the systems and customs. A timeless classic, ladies and gentlemen, sung by the legendary late Mukeshji and Lataji from the movie Roti Kapda or Makan. You would have guessed the song already. Stay tuned. At the end of this song or midway, I'll be back and we'll take a look at and chronicle some of Jemima Rodrigues' thoughts and accomplishments off and on the field of cricket. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere.
मैं ना भूलूंगा मैं ना भूलूंगी मैं ना भूलूंगा मैं ना भूलूंगी मैं ना भूलूंगा मैं ना भूलूंगी इन रस्मों को इन कसमों को इन रिश्ते नातों को मैं ना भूलूंगा मैं ना भूलूंगी मैं ना भूलूंगी मैं ना भूलूंगा इन रस्मों को इन कसमों को इन रिश्ते नातों को मैं ना भूलूंगा मैं ना भूलूंगी मैं ना भूलूंगा मैं ना भूलूंगी चलो जग को भूले चलो जग को भूले ख्यालों में झूले बहारों में डोले बहारों में डोले सितारों को छूले आखिरी में मान मैं ना भूलूंगा, मैं ना भूलूंगी, मैं ना भूलूंगा, मैं ना भूलूंगी.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A timeless classic, as I mentioned, Maina Bhulunga by the legendary late duo of Mukesh ji and Lata ji. We'll continue our show. We'll talk about Jemima Rodrigues. As I mentioned, Jemima Rodrigues was already a hero on the field of cricket, but by her recent, I would say, actions, she has become a real hero or a heroine, I must say, not just on the field of cricket, but beyond the field of cricket, talking about the field of humanity. That's Jemima Rodrigues for you. I don't have a whole lot of time. I've got about 15 minutes, so I'll get straight to some of the videos that I've picked to showcase Jemima Rodrigues, the person and the talented cricketer. A few snippets that I want you all to sit back, relax, and enjoy with me. First up is a little interview, just about a 2-minute long video, with Jemima Rodrigues.
A girl, a lady, call her whatever. She is a wonder wizard with a willow. With ease, grace, and elegance, she's a roaring on the pitch.
It was so good, people will think that I paid you money to say something. Sorry.
People do things they don't like to, what they hate to get what they love to. So what have been your hard work, struggles, sacrifices to be where you are?
No, it's first God has blessed me, God has favored me, God has helped me through the journey, and then God has brought the right people across my path to get me to where I want
So it's
to be.
God. Okay, what were those failures and faults of yours that God used to bring you to where you are today?
I am a pretty anxious person. I would like to thank actually my fears and my anxieties because that showed me Jesus in a way I wouldn't have seen him otherwise. I was crushed. I was heartbroken. It's like playing for India is my dream. So I was at a very low phase, maybe a bit of depressed also because conviction is important by God himself. So I tell it like to a lot of people around also. If you feel that God is not real, ask God to be real to you. And I think God is God enough to handle that. And if he is God, he will prove to you he is God.
A small snippet, ladies and gentlemen, that gives an insight into Jemima Rodrigues, the spiritual soul. Now, a couple of cricketing highlights that are my favorites of Jemima Rodrigues that I want to share. The one that I'm going to share right now, I would say, very, very blessed to have been in attendance at this particular game. This was the third and the final game of the T20 series. It was actually a double-hander, all of those three games between India and South Africa. And this third game was at Newlands, the beautiful Newlands Cricket Stadium with the Table Mountain backdrop. And I was not too far, in fact, from where Jemima Rodrigues took this catch of Merizan Cap. She was a little bit to the left, but I could see her clearly pluck this catch literally out of thin air. It remains one of my favorite catches in the field of cricket, whether it's by a man or a woman. And I want you all to enjoy this with me. Fantastic Jemima Rodrigues' catch. Remember, she was only about 17 years and a few months old when she took this catch. Literally sensational.
Six runs. Beautifully played. Oh no, it's not gone for six. I thought it was good timing, but what a catch. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. The timing of the jump was so important. And look at the way she's waited. She's waited. Have a look at this. This is a catch to watch again and again and again. This is an absolutely out of the world catch. And a big wicket as well. Well, they've asked the batswoman to wait because they're still checking whether the fielder did step onto the boundary rope. But look at the timing. The timing of the jump so good. And then the way she jumps, oh, brilliant. She hasn't touched it. Absolutely. This young girl, Jeremiah Rodrigues, and now they're checking if it's a no ball.
Well, I got it completely wrong because I thought, no, there's nothing wrong with the foot. I got it completely wrong. Sani, I actually thought the timing was good because she's been striking it so well, Marie's uncupped. And look at that. That's brilliance for you there. The fact that she can jump and still manage to keep within the rope. Brilliant catch that.
Yes, absolutely. I keep saying the timing of the jump was so important. Now they're going very close. You can see that that thing doesn't move. If it moves, maybe you could say that she might have touched it, but it doesn't look as if she's touched it. It's an outstanding catch. It's a memorable catch, absolutely fantastic. And these are the kind of catches that change matches. And you can say that this catch has certainly tilted the game totally in favor of India now.
As Sunil Gavaskar said in the commentary, a fantastic and outstanding catch, and these are the kinds of catches that win you matches, and surely that game was won by India, and that catch was a big contributor. We all know how good a cricketer Mirzan Cap is, right? If she had been there, who knows, she could have turned the tables on India, but that was not to me because it was meant to be Jemimah Rodrigues' day. And my last video of Jemimah Rodrigues, but not the least of her performances. It's another on-field performance we all saw a few months ago when she was a big reason, or one of the biggest, or maybe the biggest reason, the Team India women put it across Australia in the semi-final in a steep chase of 300 plus. It's about a 5-minute long video, every minute worth savoring. So let's go ahead, without any ado, let's go ahead and enjoy Jemimah Rodrigues' special that helped India win the semi-final against Australia at the One-Day International World Cup a few months ago at the D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai.
Oh, chipped in the air, but it's past King at mid-wicket for the second boundary of the over.
Jimmy pulls that out of the legs. Navi Mumbai loves it. Exquisite from Jemimah Rodrigues. Cut away. That'll release the pressure. Find their voice again for the hometown girl. Jimmy gives her the charge and finds the gap to perfection. Boundary to start the over. Tracer bullets from Jimmy and races away for 4.
Actually.
Top shot. She might be of small stature, but she's smashing it and timing it as well as anyone has done tonight. Jemimah Rodrigues on 47.
She's not batted too often at number 3. Today, given the opportunity in a big game like this, she is coming good. Tells you how versatile a player Jemimah Rodrigues over the
half century for Jemimah Rodrigues. Back-to-back in this World Cup. The 9th of her career in addition to a couple of hundreds. And she's giving hope to everyone in here and to the nation as a whole. Can hope become reality though? Time will tell.
The local girl. It's a packed house today.
Well played. Nice and late. Good control. And too quick for the fielder at short third. 60% of her runs have come with those sweeps, reverse sweeps for Jemima Rodrigues right through her career, especially in the time that she's played in the middle orders for India. This evening, it's been a lot of different areas on the ground that she's been able to target. 64 is what.
Magnificent striking. Jemmy Rodrigues has been quiet for a while now, but this beautifully played straight over the top of extra cover. No chance that was being hit.
164 is what the score could have been, or could have been thought of in case there was a rain interruption. But India ahead, and much ahead, with this boundary coming in from Jemima Rodrigues.
Listen to the crowd as the hometown hero brings up a World Cup century in a semi-final in a massive run chase against the current World Cup champions. Does it get any bigger than this?
She's a superstar, but what I love about this innings is exactly her body language right now. She knows the job is not done. She is not willing right now to celebrate. She wants to celebrate only if India win this game. That shows the champion that she is.
Yeah, it's up and over McGrath. That will be a 4 yet again at the start of the over for India. That is what has set up this run chase so far.
A bit risky. She hasn't timed her reverse sweeps that nicely so far, but it's the dew. It just skids onto the bat, a little bit of bounce. Jemima backs that reverse sweep, just gets it over 2 feet.
Got it through! Jemima Rodrigues! Listen to them!
Well, not where you wanted to bowl. And Sophie Molyneux, short and wide outside the off stump, field up on the offside. Splits the fielders, easy boundary. Molyneux, normally an excellent bowler at the end of an innings, keeps it tight, bowls around the wicket as a left arm into the stumps.
Multiple runs, 4 runs. Jemima Rodrigues with innovation. Not for the first time tonight. 15 required from 15.
Outstanding shot once again from Jemmy Rodrigues. Just the composure. Slow ball again, only 85 kilometres an hour. Still enough. Puts a bit of extra mayo on it. Make sure it gets all the way to the boundary. She knew the fielder was a deep backward. She knew she had some space behind the wicketkeeper.
There was the Jemima Rodrigues special. I used to pronounce her name as Jemima, but I think it's Jemima Rodrigues. So Jemima Rodrigues special that helped Team India win the semi-final against Australia of the One Day International World Cup. So today's legend, Jemima Rodrigues, well, even though I did play some of her performances on the field, really the reason I selected her as a legend was her big-hearted performance off the field. The friendship, the love and care that she put a much, much, much higher price tag on than anything that any game of cricket in the women's BBL could have ever given her. Hats off to you, Jemima Rodrigues. You just became 100 feet taller than your physical stature, maybe even more, by your actions. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready to take leave from you all, reminding you all that this show has now a new time. Same house, same place. 103.3 Houston FM, presentation of Rehan Siddiqui. Catch me on Facebook Live. Catch me on the 103.3 FM station. Catch me on HoustonFM.com. Catch me on the 103.3 Houston FM app, but at a different time. Going ahead, Friday, December 5, that's the first day when I would be hosting shows on Friday evening, 7 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time. That's Houston time. Thank you again for tuning in to me today. Keep happy, keep listening to each other, keep loving each other, keep smiling, keep being blessed. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Keep tuning in to me if your time permits. Have your friends and family also tune in to me, but at the new time, Friday evenings, 7 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time. With that, I'll take leave, but not before I play this parting song, yet another yesteryear song on Dosti. This is again by a legendary brother-sister duo, Zoeb Hassan and Nazia Hassan. Of course, Nazia Hassan, unfortunately, already late. The song Dosti, Teri Meri Dosti. With that, adios, ladies and gentlemen. If all goes well, I hope you all will listen to me at my new time, Friday evening, 7 p.m. So long. Bye for now.
सबसे महंगी है, चलती रहती है, रुकती नहीं। दोस्ती तेरी मेरी ऐसी दोस्ती है, तेरे लिए मेरे लिए सबके लिए दोस्ती वो हर जगह ऐसी दोस्ती। जब हमदम मिले सब कुछ मिले, करना नहीं फिर तुम शिकवे गिले। हो कुछ देके जाती है, लेके जाती है हमेशा दोस्ती तेरी मेरी ऐसी दोस्ती। दुख सुख सहती है, पल पल देती है, देखो दोस्ती तेरी मेरी ऐसी दोस्ती। यादें भी है, सपने भी है, गैरों में कुछ यहाँ अपने भी है। हो सबसे महंगी है, चलती रहती है, रुकती नहीं दोस्ती है, तेरे लिए मेरे लिए सबके लिए दोस्ती सबसे महंगी है, चलती रहती है, रुकती नहीं दोस्ती है, तेरे लिए मेरे लिए सबके लिए दोस्ती तेरी मेरी ऐसी दोस्ती वो हर जगह ऐसी दोस्ती। तेरी मेरी ऐसी दोस्ती। तेरा एक फूल की तरह शादाब है, चेहरा उसका है या कोई माताब है। चेहरा जैसे गजल, चेहरा जाने गजल, चेहरा